Good morning students. Today we are going to discuss the continuous topic of the carbohydrates. So as we had already discussed regarding the definition of the carbohydrates, carbohydrates are the polyhydroxyaldehyde or polyhydroxyketonic compounds are the substances which is going to be derived from them are known as carbohydrates. In this topic we are going to discuss about the pharmaceutical importance, pharmaceutical aid and pharmacognostic study of the individual drugs. Let's see about the pharmaceutical importance of carbohydrates. Starch, it is a polysaccharide. It is going to be used as an excipient in many pharmaceutical formulations. As an excipient, it is going to be used as a binder, diluent and disintegrating agent. Glucose, it is one of the main component, nothing but it is one of the major metabolite in the plant. It is going to be used as a cellular respiration and in the production of the ATP. In pharmaceutical formulation, it is going to be used as a granulating agent and coating agent and also sometimes used as a sweetener. Lactose, it is going to be available in different forms such as anhydrous lactose and lactose monohydrate. Anhydrous lactose is going to be used as a filler and binder, whereas lactose monohydrate is going to be used as a filler or diluent. Next is sucrose. So sucrose is also a simple saccharide. So here sucrose in the pharmaceutical formulation, it is going to be used as a binding agent, bulking agent, and also used as a sweetener and tablet coating agent. Next is mannitol. Mannitol is going to be used as a diluent, plasticizer and also used as an excipient in the chewable tablets and used as a diagnostic agent for the kidney function. Next is sorbitol. Sorbitol is used as a diluent and also used in the chewable tablets and used as a stabilizer for drugs and it also prevents from the crystallization. Next is microcrystalline cellulose. It is also going to become under the polysaccharide and this microcrystalline cellulose is going to be used as a binder, diluent, lubricant and disintegrating agent. Next is hydroxypropyl cellulose. Hydroxypropyl cellulose is going to be used as a thickening agent, transdermal patches, ophthalmic preparations, cosmetics and food products. Like that, there are different types of carbohydratic compounds are there which is going to be used for the different pharmaceutical purposes. Sometimes it is going to be used in the textile industry, sometimes it is going to be used for the medicinal purpose. Like that, different uses are there for this carbohydratic compounds. And for the production of drugs, various techniques are going to be involved such as purification, filtration, adsorption, solubilization, absorption, suspension, emulsification are employed. A number of natural products are used in these techniques. Flavoring, coloring, coating and perfuming agents are used in the drug industries. These agents possess little or no therapeutic value, but they are used in the preparation of many pharmaceutical products. These agents are called as pharmaceutical aids, which may be going to be obtained from the plant or else animals or else mineral, or sometimes it is also going to be obtained from the synthetic origin. So this is about the pharmaceutical aid for the carbohydratic compounds. So next we are going to discuss about the pharmacognostical study of the individual drugs. So first one is acacia. So acacia, the common name, synonym. Okay, synonym is nothing but it is a common name. So the common name or synonym for the acacia is, it is commonly known as gum acacia or as gum arabica. So this is an image of acacia plant. So next is biological source and family. It is going to be obtained It is going to be obtained as a gummy exudation by making an incision to the stem and branches of Acacia arabica, which belongs to the family Leguminosae. By making an incision to the stems and branches, the gum is going to be oozes out from the stem and branches. That is going to be obtained from the species that is known as Acacia arabica, which belongs to the family Leguminosae. Next is chemical constituents. So here in these chemical constituents, so the main chemical constituent which is going to be present here is arabine. So Arabin, it is going to be available in the form of calcium, magnesium and potassium salts of arabic acid. And it also possesses enzymes along with the arabin. Enzymes such as oxidase and peroxidase are going to be present. Next is uses. Uses of acacia, it is going to be used as a demulcent, emollient, suspending agent, emulsifying agent, binding agent and stabilizing agent in many pharmaceutical formulations. Next is substituents and adulterants. Here in this, the commonly used substituent and adulterant for the Acacia arabica is Talca gum, Mugador gum, starch, Tragacan, Dextrin, Stelculia gum and gum khati. These are going to be used as adulterants for the Acacia arabica. If you see the description for the acacia gum, it is going to be available in two forms, that is a tears form and powdery form. The color for the tear is, it is cream brown to red in color, whereas for the powder it is light brown in color. Next is odor. It is going to be available as a odorless compound. Taste, if you taste the gum, it will be available as a bland and mucilaginous in taste. It is going to be available in irregular brown tears and sizes. It is based on the different sizes, it is going to be available in the market. Next is chemical test. First test is lead acid test. Here the sample solution, aqueous solution of acacia sample is treated with the lead acid solution. It will give white color precipitate. Next is sample solution on treatment with the hydrogen peroxide and benzene alcohol. It gives blue color. This blue color is because of the presence of the oxidase enzyme. Next is agar. The synonym for the agar is agar. It is also known as vegetable gelatin. Next is biological source and its family. It is a dried gummy substance obtained from Gelidium amansi, which belongs to the family Gelidaceae. It is a gelatinous substance which is going to be obtained from the Gelidium amansi and belongs to the family Gelidaceae. Chemical constituents which is going to be present here in this is agarose and agaropectin. Agarose, it will give strength to the agar. Nothing but it will give gel strength to the agar. Whereas agaropectin, it forms viscosity. It gives viscosity to the agar solution. It is the chemical structure of the agarose. Next is uses. It is going to be used as a laxative, good emulsifying agent, preparation of jellies, preparation of suppositories and pessaries. So these are all going to be considered as a uses of the agar. Next is substituents and adulterants. The commonly used substituents and adulterants for the agar is Danish agar and Indian agar. Next is description for the agar. If you see the color of the agar, it is going to be available as yellowish grey or white in color. Next is odor, odorless, and taste is mucilaginous in taste, and it is going to be available as strips, sheets and flakes. Sheets are going to be available at a size of 45 to 60 centimeter long, whereas strips are going to be available in the size of 4 millimeter in the width. Next is chemical test. So here in this chemical test of agar, the sample solution is, whenever it is treated with a ruthenium red solution, it gives pink color. Next is 0.2% sample solution on treatment with the tannic acid, it forms no precipitate. Next test is on heating with water and cooling at room temperature, it forms a stiff jelly. So all this indicates it is a agar solution. Next is tragacanth. Synonym for the tragacanth is gum tragacanth and tragacanth. Next, biological source. It is going to be obtained similar as that of acacia. This tragacanth is going to be also available as a gummy exudation by making an incision to the stem and branches of Astragalus gummifer plant. It belongs to the family Leguminosae. The chemical constituent which is going to be present here is, there will be the two types of chemical constituent which is going to be present in the tragacanth. One is known as tragacanthine, and next one is basorin. So tragacanthine is a water soluble portion and basorin is a water insoluble portion. This triacanthine is going to be present in 8 to 10%, whereas basorine is going to be present in 60 to 70%. Other compounds along with this triacanthine and basorine are methoxy group. That is about 15% of methoxy group is going to be present, and it is going to cells in the water. Next is uses. So coming to the uses of triacanth, it is going to be used as demulcent, emollient, suspending agent, emulsifying agent, used in lotions and spermicidal jellies. Substituents and adulterants for the triacanth. So the commonly used adulterants and substituents for the triacanth are Hock triacanth, citral gum and siraj gum. Next is chemical test. Okay, next is description for the gum. Okay, so it is also going to be available in the different shapes and sizes, and the color of this is yellowish, light yellowish in color. Odor is odorless, and taste will be the mucilaginous and bland in taste. Okay, similar as that of acacia. Next is chemical test. So here in this chemical test for the triacanth, whenever the sample solution is treated with the 10% ferric chloride solution. Okay, the ferric chloride solution which should be taken here is, it should be freshly prepared ferric chloride solution. On heating, it gives yellow color precipitate, which indicates the presence of triacanth. Next is sample solution. Whenever it is treated with the sodium hydroxide solution, it gives canary yellow color precipitate, which indicates the presence of triacanth. Whenever it is treated with the iodine solution, it gives green color, which indicates the presence of triacanth. Next drug is honey. Okay, so here in this honey, the common name for the honey, the synonym for the honey is, it is commonly known as madhu, honey purified and mel. Biological source. Coming to the biological source, it is going to be obtained from the Apis mellifera or Apis dorsata, which belongs to the family Apidae. Okay, it is going to be obtained from the honeycomb, nothing but honey bees, which is going to be obtained from the species that is known as Apis mellifera and Apis dorsata. So here honey is going to be obtained by smoking the honeycomb, and here the honey is going to be collected. By smoking the honeycomb, the honey is going to be collected by squeezing the honeycomb, and whatever the honey which is going to be obtained, it is going to be boiled for some time. Then it is going to be left for the cooling, and on cooling, whatever the impurities is there, that is going to be come onto the surface. That impurities is going to be scrapped off, and it is going to be used further. Next is chemical constituent. So coming to the chemical constituents of the honey, it is the main chemical constituent which is going to be present here is glucose, fructose and sucrose. The content of glucose which is present in the honey is, that is for 35%, whereas fructose, it is going to be present for about 45% and sucrose about 2%. So these are the chemical structures for the glucose and fructose. And the uses, if you see, it is going to be used as a demulcent, sweetening agent, antiseptic, and used as a vehicle for Ayurvedic formulation in many cough mixtures. In many cough syrups, it is going to be used as a cough mixture. Adulterants which is going to be commonly practiced for the honey is artificial inverse sugar. Next, if you see description for the honey, the color of the honey, if you see, it is pale yellow to yellowish brown in color. Odor, there is a characteristic and pleasant odor. If you see the taste of the honey, it will be sweet and faintly acidic in nature. Next is chemical test. So here in this chemical test, the first test is reducing sugar test. Here 0.5 grams of honey, whenever it is treated with the 10 ml of hydrogen peroxide, here water, it is not a hydrogen peroxide, it is water. Okay, whenever 0.5 grams of honey, it is treated with the 10 ml of water, and next, after addition of water, failing solution A and B should be added. After addition of this failing solution A and B, on heating it forms red precipitate, which indicates the presence of honey. Next is next test is 1 ml of honey. Whenever it is treated with the 4 ml of alcohol, it forms turbidity, which indicates presence of distinct from the added glucose. Next test is resorcinol test or Selvinov test, we can say. Test solution whenever it is treated with the crystals of resorcinol, and to this equal volume of HCl is going to be added. and warmed over the water bath. And warming over the water bath, it forms a rose color, which indicates the presence of honey. Feast test, it is one of the detection tests for the artificial inverse sugar. Honey, whenever it is treated with the ether and shake and separate the ethereal layer and evaporate to dryness in porcelain dish. To this, 1 drop of resorcinol hydrochloride is added. It gives cherry red color, which indicates the presence of artificial invert sugar. Okay, cherry red color is due to the liberation of furfural which is present in the artificial invert sugar. Test is negative in pure honey. Okay, feast test is going to be negative in the pure honey. Thank you.